Hi there, it's Carol with Carol B Crafts. Today we'll be doing project number 2 in my Candy Cane Season Cut Stamp Create Club October kit. You can find out how you can participate in my club kits at my website www.cutstampcreateclub.com, or check out my Facebook group Cut Stamp Create Club. Everyone is welcome and there's no monthly commitment. I'll be giving the dimensions and supplies as I go along so that if you don't have the club kit, you can make this card or a similar card. To make this card, you'll need the Candy Cane Season bundle, which is this adorable bundle here, and the punch has a candy cane and a bow. You'll need Poppy Parade ink, and Pool Party is optional if you don't want to decorate your inside sentiment with the snowflakes. So let's get started making our card. You'll need a piece of thick Whisper White for the card base, 5.5 by 8.5. You'll need some Pool Party cardstock, a second largest scallop circle cut from the Layering Circles framelets. You'll need a piece 5 3/8 by 4 1/8, 5 3/8 by 4 1/8, and a piece that is 4 1/4 by 3 1/2, and that is your Pool Party. From your Whisper White, you'll need to cut a stitched circle. It's the second largest stitched circle in the Stitch Shapes framelets dies. You'll need a piece of Whisper White that's 4 3 1/4, 4 by 3 1/4, and a square 3 by 3 inch piece of Whisper White. And then with the Poppy Parade cardstock, you will need the second largest circle in the Layering Circles framelets. For your DSP, you'll be using this DSP with the small marching elves, and then you'll need the red and white striped. And we'll use this to cut the candy canes with our punch. So this piece of, it's 6 by 12, half a sheet that comes in your kit. You're going to cut it at 1.5 by 6. So this is your 1.5 inches by 6 inches, and you don't need this piece for this project. Now for the little marching elves, you need a piece that is 5 1/4 by 4, but you want to make it so that it's somewhat even, so that you have you're not cutting off the tops of their heads. So what you want to do is go ahead and cut a piece that is 5 1/4 this way. So you've cut 5 1/4 here. Now you're going to cut off enough to up here on this 4th row. You're going to cut off at the top. So you see you've cut off enough so that you're not cutting their heads off. So then you want to you're going to measure 4 inches. And that's going to put you 5 1/4 by 4. So you can see that I trimmed off just a little bit off the bottom to make that 5 1/4 by 4. So now we are just about ready to get started. You have some things you need from your kit. You have a piece of 5 1/4 by 1.5, 5 1/4 by 1.5 piece of the Poppy Parade cardstock that's been put through the corrugated embossing folder that comes with your kit. You'll have 3 of the larger circles from your Santa's Enamel Shapes. Then you have 2 pieces of Bermuda Bay ribbon from the Tea Room Combo Pack ribbon. one piece that is 9 inches and one piece that is 7 inches. So 7 and 9. These come with your kit. Well, you'll have to cut these yourself. We're going to score our cardstock landscape at 4 1/4. Then we're going to fold it and crease the fold with our bone folder. That's our card base. Now we'll go ahead and do our stamping. You'll need your 2 pieces of Whisper White, 3 by 3 and 4 by 3 1/4. We'll start by stamping the 3 by 3 1/4, and that's going to be where we stamp the "'Tis the Season." I'm going to use my Stamparatus in case I need to stamp twice. I'll put a random stamp pad down there to hold that in place. I'll put this in the corner and I'll hold it down with some of that. Now I do have a piece of 1/8, about a 1/16 inch of chipboard to give it a little bit of lift. So I'm going to place this in the corner here, down at the bottom, and I want it about 1/8 of an inch from the bottom, and I want to make sure that it's straight. So it should be straight and centered. I'll pick it up, then I'll ink it up with the Poppy Parade. Now we're going to do the inside sentiment. Now this is a landscape card, so we want our sentiment to be going landscape. We'll put that in the corner, and we want it to say "Be Jolly," and it's just going to be kind of here to your right, just kind of right there. Okay, we have our "Be Jolly." Now we're going to go and to stamp our snowflakes, if that's what you want to do. So for the snowflakes, I am not going to use my Stamparatus hinge. I'm going to use my C block and my Cool Party ink. This is photopolymer, so I will use the mat, but I won't use the hinge. I'm going to put a piece of scrap paper underneath to protect the foam, and I'm just going to stamp randomly the snowflakes. Okay, so now we have our snowflakes. And that's optional. If you don't want to do the snowflakes, you don't have to. Now we have our stamped images. We are ready to put our card together. But before we do that, we want to go ahead and cut our banner. So we'll take and trim this off so that it has an even distance from this stamping to the edge and from that stamping to the edge. And it's going to be a little less than 1/2 inch, probably about 3/8 of an inch. So you can see I trimmed it off. Now I'm going to cut on each end about 1/8 of an inch in the center. And then I'm going to cut from each side to where I cut there from the corner. And that makes my little banner. So now I have my banner, and it's going to go here. So now we're ready to put our card together. So bring in your card base, And we have our pool party, and we have this, our DSP, then we have this. Now our ribbon, our 7-inch ribbon, is going to go across here. And then we want, before we do that part, we want to go ahead and build our circle part here. So we'll do the circle, and then this here. And now we have this. So all we need now is the candy canes. So let's do our candy canes. We'll get our 1.5 by 6-inch piece of the fuzzy striped DSP and our punch. So if you want opposing candy canes, so that one's going in that direction and one's going in this direction, you need to cut them opposite. So you're going to cut this one here. That will be your first cut. But then the next one, you don't want to cut it this way. You want to cut it on the back, like this. See how you have the back facing you? Now you'll have opposing candy canes. So let's go ahead and put these together. Now, I'm going to use glue. We'll start with, we'll put the Poppy Parade circle on the pool party. Then we're going to put the Whisper White stitch circle on top of the Poppy Parade. Next we're going to put the candy canes on the circle, and we're going to do that with, it looks like I used mini glue dot, mini dimensionals. I always say mini glue dots, but I mean mini dimensionals. So we're going to put, well, before we do that, we want to go ahead and we're going to glue these together, or you could just put a glue dot. Maybe that's what we need. So we'll put a glue dot kind of in the middle here where we know that we want it to cross. So let's get a glue dot, put it there, and then we're going to cross them. Let's put it on the circle so we make sure that we're going to be able to fit everything there on it. It needs to be a little bit lower. Might be easier to do it this way. Okay, so now we have that. We put it on with the glue dot so we know it's going to fit. Now we'll put our mini dimensionals on the back. Now once you have your mini dimensionals on, you're going to remove the backings and put it on your circle. And you're going to place it in your candy canes here in the circle like this. Next you want to put your banner on, and you're going to put this on with some of the larger glue dimensionals, the regular size dimensionals. So you're going to want to put one behind. Now it may be that they're too wide, so you may need to cut them in half. So we'll go ahead and cut this one in half here, like that. And we'll just turn this around so we can kind of figure out where to put this, because we don't want them to be in the way of our candy canes. So you can see I've turned it upside down so that when I flip it over, I have And there we have that. So now we're going to go ahead and remove the backings and put this in place over the candy canes. Right about there. We want to leave room for our ribbon, so we'll put our ribbon there. So now we have that. So this is now ready to go on the front of our card. We'll finish getting our card ready. So this is going to, we'll go ahead and put this on our DSP on our piece of Pool Party. Okay, so now we're going to measure about 1 1/4 of an inch from the end and just mark it lightly so that you can erase it. And that's going to tell us where to put our piece of corrugated Poppy Parade. And now we're just going to put some glue here along the back. Find our 1 1/4 mark and match it up. That should be even with your DSP edges. Now we're ready to put our ribbon on. Now we're going to measure on the back 1 1/2 inches on each side. That's where the bottom of our ribbon will be. We're going to put with our snail a 1 inch square kind of snail above that mark. That's to hold our ribbon, so we'll get our 7-inch piece of ribbon. We're going to put it around the front so that we have even sides on the edges here, even ends. And then we're going to bring it around and find our mark and push our ribbon in our adhesive. Bring this one around, find our mark, and push our adhesive, a ribbon into our adhesive. Now it's ready to go on the front of our card base right here. Now I will use some snail for that. So I have my snail. Now I'm going to put this on the front of my card. I'm going to go ahead and put this inside, but first I have to put it on the piece of 4 1/4 by 3 1/2 inch Pool Party. And then I'm going to put this on the inside. I'll use snail for that. Ready to put this on the front. So I have this in place. Ready to put this on the front. And I want to put some mini dimensionals. I want to put it on with mini dimensionals, but I only want to put dimensionals below where the Poppy Parade is and above where the Poppy Parade is. So it might help to decide where I want it and then kind of flip it over so that I can put my dimensionals there. Okay, so once I get my dimensionals, I'm going to remove the backings and I'm going to place it evenly over the center of the card, over the Poppy Parade, and I want my sentiment to be straight too, even. Then I'm going to push it down in place. Now all I have left to do is my bow. So I'll get my piece of 9-inch bow and I'm going to put the tail towards the back and then make a loop. And I have about 1 inch of a tail here. I'm going to bring this around, so I have my loop. I'm going to bring this around my thumb, and then with this finger I'm going to push it through the loop that I made here where my thumb is. And then I'm going to pull the loops. Then I'll straighten it up to where I have it to the size I want. I'm holding it in the center to keep it from twisting. Okay, that looks about right. Maybe this side needs to be a little bit bigger. And that looks about right. It's not quite 1.5 inches across. So we'll go ahead and put that on with the glue dot. Decide which side looks flatter. I think it looks better on this side. Get a glue dot, put it in the back, and then pinch it off. And then you're going to put it just above here on your candy canes. And then you can push up the sides to make it a little fluffier. And I think I need to bring that down a little bit. It needs to go right above the sentiment to look right. And then we'll just take our scissors and trim the ends off at an angle. Okay, so we have our bow. Now we need as the finishing touch of putting the 3 dots, the larger red Poppy Parade enamel dots up in the corner, top right corner. Just about wherever you like them, but just as long as they're level and even. That's what's important. Okay, we have our 3 enamel dots up there at the top. And we are done with our card. Thanks for joining me today in doing our project number 2 in our Candy Cane Season Club Kit. Check out my website, www.cutstampcreateclub.com, to find out what my current club kit offerings are, and to join my Facebook group, Cut Stamp Create Club. Thanks for watching. Bye now.